Hey everybody, this here is a Galaxy Model 2151 16-inch oscillating desk fan, and this one is a second generation model in blue, of course. Um, Now this one I got last week. I got it actually, I think it was Friday or Saturday, I actually can't remember, but this one was actually a complete surprise. I did not know that I would be getting this one. I went to pick up another fan for a friend, and the guy was off a Facebook Marketplace, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I got some more fans back here," and I saw this one sitting there on the floor, and I was like, "Okay, well I gotta have that one." I ended up buying this one as well as another one from him, which will be featured in another video in the future. But this one I was very excited about because I've been after one of these 16-inch model Galaxies for quite some time now. I have seen these twice before in my life, technically twice. I have seen one very similar to this at an open house that for sale that we went to many, many years ago. Um, it was just like this one, Model 2151, second generation, but it had it was labeled Lasko in the center instead of Galaxy, which this one is, as you can see. So I assume that the Lasko ones are just a little bit more rare than these Galaxy labeled ones. Um, and then I saw another one that was actually a slightly later model in New York City a few years after that. Or may have been around the same time as that, I can't remember really. But it was a Dayton labeled one. It was gray, it was from a little bit later, and it had the standard center grille medallion, not this large one. Now you know that this is very similar to their 12-inch models, which I have many of. Now I have 4 of them, all of different variations. And the only real difference between the 12-inch and the 16-inch is they kind of enlarged everything, well, obviously, and the center grille medallion is obviously different. Now, there are some that exist, like I said, that have that center grille medallion, like the Dayton one I saw, but most of them actually have this large one like this, which is pretty interesting. And I think this was originally chrome, but it's kind of worn off and it's now clear. I know the center was definitely chrome because it has worn off. And the cage is obviously bigger to fit the larger 16-inch blade set, which has the rounded ends, which is not typical of these blue models. The 12-inch ones also have the rounded ends. Now, of course, later on, you know, they switched to the pointed ends, like on that one right there. However, I don't know if I've seen a 16-inch blue one with the pointed blade ends, because I know they made blue ones in the 12-inch size with the pointed blade ends, but never with, I don't think they made blue ones with the pointed blade ends in the 16-inch size, so I don't know. I've never seen one before. I could be wrong. But yeah, and then you'll also notice that they made a version of this center grille medallion very similar to this for the 12-inch models, such as on here. This is on that Sears 12-inch one that I have. It's kind of like a second gen 2150 rebrand, and it's got that sort of the same spokes in the center there. But the difference is on this one, the badge just kind of comes out from the center there. On this one, it's kind of recessed in, more similar to that one. So a couple of interesting differences between those. And then another difference, like the cage being enlarged, the base is also slightly larger. If I bring this one over here, you can see. Can you? There you go. Maybe put it this way. Yeah, you can see right there, the 16-inch one is definitely just a bit larger, probably to withstand that big cage. And now if I turn it around to the side here, you can see that it has the standard two-piece motor housing that these often had, the second-gen ones. But this one's oscillator knob is different. This one has the later style where it snaps in, rather than like most of them had where it screws in like that. So this is probably a later one. And then the handle is also different. It's kind of like the first gen style where it comes out of the back there at an angle rather than like this where it's just a piece of metal curved welded onto the back of the cage there. So again, interesting. And then this one does have that extra ring around the back, which and I think these 16-inch ones always had this because they needed more support for the larger cage size. But some of the 12-inch ones did. Like that one back there has it, but this one doesn't. So they did kind of variance in production throughout the years. Oh yeah, and there was another thing. This one is in not so great condition. You probably already noticed the crack on the base, or the chunk that someone took out of it there. That is probably the worst damage of it, but when I got it, it was completely filthy. You probably saw the photos I posted in the group a couple of days ago, but I cleaned it up as best as I could. The rest of the base isn't that bad except for the neck. There's a pretty significant crack on this side, and on this side there's another one that's not as bad, but there's a chunk that's actually been broken off there. It still functions, as you can see, so don't think I'm going to mess with it quite yet because it still works, but that's just something that I need to be concerned about. And then on the bottom, oh, and yeah, on the back it's got the standard venting here, but there's a crack right there around the screw hole as well. But it still holds it pretty well, at least. On the bottom here is the label, or the information's stamping. Type 12-2. Is it even focusing? Or sorry, type 12- or oh no, I'm sorry, type 16. 16-1. This is a 16-inch fan, duh. And then the date code is right there. It's upside down, actually. I can try to turn it around, but I think the first digit is 1. You can't really see it right there, but that first digit there, I think it's 1. So this is probably a 1981 model, which would make sense. That falls in the range of the second gen production, so I think this is an 81 model. And then this one's plug, this one has the LMP plug. This one, it's the exact same one that I think this one, yeah, this blue 12-inch has the same plug. So now let's go ahead and start the fan up on low speed. Ooh, back up here a second. And it makes that kind of high-pitched whine that these 70s and 80s Galaxies often did. Alright, medium. Oh, and another thing, when I got it, the buttons were a little messed up. I think that the reason why that crack is there in the base is because something fell on it and, like, well, obviously damaged it, but it bent that one bar inside of the switch that keeps the buttons pushed down when you push it down. So the medium one wasn't staying down. Or sorry, no, high wasn't staying down and low wasn't staying down. Medium worked, and then high wouldn't. But it would only work like if you would push it down and like keep your finger on it. So it was really weird. But I fixed it. I took it apart and put the part in the vise to straighten it out, and now it works. So I'm very happy. But that chunk out of the base is going to bother me now, of course. So I'll turn it up to high speed. And as for performance, I mean, it's really powerful, obviously. I'm not expecting anything less from a Galaxy, but I don't really feel too much of a difference between this and the 12-inch ones. I mean, yeah, it's probably probably because I'm in such a small little area here. I'd need to probably test it from a distance to get the full effect, but maybe up close. It's definitely a wider range of airflow, so I do like that about it. It's got that advantage. And now, we'll do the spin down from high. And this one has really good bearings. Like, even it had been so heavily used, and when I got it, it still like spun right up. It had a pretty good spin down time, but I did oil both bearings, of course, because I always do. And now its spin down time is even better. Oh yeah, that's really good. Okay, now let's engage the oscillator. Oh, and then another thing I completely forgot to mention. The oscillator knob was missing when I got it, but I stole this one from that Frigid rebranded Galaxy that I just got recently. So this is not the original oscillator knob, but let's push it to engage the oscillator and start the fan up on high this time. And now it's going to blow everything around. Pretty fast oscillation speed on this one. I like it. Right. Medium. And low. Alright, disengage the oscillator, and we'll do a spin down from low, I guess. Even from low, it's got a really long spin down time. Wow. Okay, that was really good actually for just for low. So now, let's see if I can't get that startup sound. So, it's probably not going to show up on camera though, but here we go. Yeah, it was making a buzzing noise or something, but you get the effect. So, yeah. I wasn't going to make you sit through that long spin down time once again, just to prove my point of how good these bearings are. But anyways, I think that's about it for this video. Yeah, that is the Galaxy by Lasko, model 2151, 16-inch oscillating desk fan. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video.